Welcome again to another CheapWineFinder.com podcast. Champion Dave, again, like usual, with another wine. This time I went to Costco and spent $9.99 on a wine. And I was surprised to find that they had a wine, the Kirkland K Vine Rosé 2022. It's a young one that came from Charles Smith, K Vintners. And I'll be upfront, Charles Smith was like the first winemaker I ever met. And some of his wines were the first wines that, especially in the value price range, that really went, wow, these are good. I'm going to take a sip of this rosé. And he has an interesting story. He was a roadie for the Ramones. He managed rock bands in Sweden. Came back to Washington State. I think he said he had $5,000 in his pocket, and he thought he might want to make wines, maybe make 300 or 400 cases a year, enough to be able to do the next year. And he's been a success. Started out with house wines, which was a $10 wine, just supposed to be a solid Cabernet, whatever it was. Then he had Charles Smith wines, Kung Fu Girl. I think a lot of people never knew they liked Riesling until they drank Kung Fu Girl. They had Eve Chardonnay, and they had Merlot. I remember him saying that the Merlot was the least expensive Merlot that was barrel-aged, oak barrel-aged. When you get down to the $10, $12 range, especially back then, most of the red wines were being oak staves on oak barrels. They put oak chips, oak powder. There are ways to make it fairly convincing nowadays, but the right way that a Merlot actually needs is a barrel. And he got the barrel in there, even though it cost more money, and he was still doing the low price. I think his motto was make a wine that's 2 times better and 2 spots cheaper, and people will be happy with you. And, I think he hits that a lot of the times. And he has wines out of high-end wines that are 100-point wines, some of the best wines out of Washington State and Columbia Valley. And plus he has all these really great wines that, here's this one for $10, $9.99. It's a single vineyard wine. I think the Milbrandt's Family Vineyards, their website's under construction at the moment, but Milbrandt's one of the elite growers there, and this is a single vineyard rosé. The funny thing about it is they tell you it's a single vineyard rosé, but they don't tell you what grape they used. I think it's a rosé of Syrah. Charles Smith and K Vintners is a Rhone-style winery, though they do other grapes too. But from what I looked around, and a lot of reviews just skipped what it was, and I think I found one that mentioned Syrah, so I'll go with Syrah, because a rosé is basically the other side of red wine. Because the tannins are removed, because they only keep the skins with the juice for a short period of time, you don't get the tannins. A lot of the chemicals that make a red wine a bigger and bolder wine are gone, so you get all these flavors that get overpowered by the chemicals that are naturally in the grapes. Chemicals sound bad. I know fairies and elves make wine, but the chemicals. And so you don't really get, even though it's the exact same grape, it's the flip side. You get tastes and they get drowned out in other, in a full-bodied red wine. I'm gonna take another sip of this thing. And this actually reminds me of wines from the Loire Valley in France. It's got that nose that smells like the first day of spring. The flavors are soft, subtle, but delicious. The acidity is the kind of acidity that makes you want to take another sip, because I've already taken 2 sips. And your taste buds goes, yeah, good idea. So this is a really excellent rosé. I mean, I'm not sure how much is going to be on stock at Costco, but if you're thinking about this, as I'm thinking about this in spring, which is, we're a month away still, maybe end of February, we're looking probably safely sometime in April. I would buy it now. $9.99. Another thing is Vintners always have this very stylized printing style on there, black and white, and they kept their, it's Vine rather than Vintners, they kept their aesthetic for this wine too, so you can tell who made it. And I put links to like Charles Smith Costco interview, and I put links to Vintners. If you're interested in that, they have some great wines, and if you're looking for upscale and you ever want to splurge with a great friend for like $100 wine, check out some of their wines. They get 100-point. I mean, how often they continues to get 100-point wines. So I'm a fan. I'll be honest up front. I love this wine. This is one of the best, most memorable. Even better than Bon Jovi's. Though I liked Bon Jovi's Rosé, but this is a really good wine. I mean, it's just good. All the things you want from Rosé are in it. I mean, it's like good flavor. It's got good acidity. The nose makes you hearken to a great spring day. It was like, and it's $9.99. A good wine doesn't have a price tag on it. It could be $100, could be $10. And that's a wine fact from cheapwinefighter.com right there, and Champion Dave. So like us where you like your podcast, if you will, so I can shut this off and finish the bottle, because I've been writing about it and talking about it. It's now time to drink about it. So adios. Like us where you like your podcast. I think I got a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand next. And stay safe, stay warm, and I'll be talking to everybody in a couple days. Bye-bye.